Welcome everyone to today's live recording right here on the School of Radiance podcast. I'm your host, a humble human on a mission, here to help you both look and feel your best, as well as those around you who are going to start to notice that your skin is looking better. And you start to get those compliments about your skin, your hair, your makeup. We do have a special guest here that's going to be joining us in just a second. Her name is Tamara. She's a longtime client of mine, and we just wrapped up a 30-minute follow-up. She's been a longtime one-on-one client of mine. She's joined a number of tutorials. She's actually re-registering for the spring one. By the way, if you notice that you are registering every season for the seasonal tutorials, just get the Glow 365 option, because that gives you year-round access to all of my tutorials. And I've given you a little bit of a bonus in the Glow 365 option. You basically pay for 2.5 tutorials and you get 4. So it's a really good price. It's a really good way to save some money, because what the tutorials accomplish is keeping you on point and also updated with everything in the world of skin and rejuvenation, staying away from the trends, because y'all know I do not love trends at all. They're usually huge time and money wasters. And the whole point of you being here and getting that one-on-one support, tutorials in the membership, is to save you time and money. Because on this quest of looking and feeling our best, our most beautiful, attractive, high vibe version, there can be a version of you that spends time and money on the wrong things. So by being here, you are taking a positive step towards making better choices, saving your time and money, so that maybe you can put that money towards your future, towards great activities, not wasting it on ads that are preying on you feeling like you're not good enough. You just want to eliminate that from your world. Any type of ad, you really want to focus and support those behind the scenes who are, doing some good things behind the scenes. Speaking of behind the scenes, I did a spring flash promo, and I've extended the skincare promo to tomorrow. So if you haven't yet done your spring skin order, use promo code SPRINGSKIN20 and save 20% off on your skincare order. And of course, with this sale, you can get your hands on the Always Radiant skincare line. I'm going to get into some of the nuances of hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, and other options that I've created. I'm going to expand on why I created them and some of the aha moments I had, especially with the copper peptide and the concentration of the previous copper peptides I've sold compared to the one that I created, and why it's better. And having this background in general chemistry, organic chemistry, and biochemistry, on top of being an RN and having that double board certification in aesthetics and medical rejuvenation, is really quite advantageous in this whole gaining perspective on the skin and rejuvenation world, as well as that lens of being a researcher in longevity. And if you haven't yet checked out some of my research articles, just go on PubMed and you can search my name, Rachel Varga, and you'll find some of the past articles that I've published. These are actually published medical journal articles that I write for you and also for my fellow colleagues. Or just go to theschoolofradiance.com, go to the research page, and you can see some of my publications there. Okay, from Robes R, your cleanser is out of stock. It disappeared from my cart from the Always Radiant skincare brand. Yes, okay. I'm going to get a little real raw here, because as many of you know, I first launched my skincare line in December, and we're a couple months fast forward from that. This is a big deal to launch a skincare brand. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I did it, I was kind of in shock. My girlfriends were like, you need to celebrate. You need to, celebrate. You accomplished a huge task that you've been wanting to do for a number of years. Because for those of you who have been one-on-one clients, longtime listeners here on the show, you know that for years I've been in the research and development mode of doing my products. Then when you launch the product, you come to realization that certain things need to be tweaked. So one of the things that needs to be tweaked is actually the bottle that the cleanser is in. So I actually pulled the cleanser from being available. It's still a fantastic formulation. I simply need to adjust the container that it's in because there was an issue with leaking. Now, keep in mind, I've launched the skincare line without the support of external investors, so I have full quality control. This is a huge deal. This is not common in a lot of skincare lines. There's usually third parties that have been needed to actually fund the project. And I'm so grateful to say that the Always Radiant skincare line was and has been funded by you, created with your needs in mind and also my preferences. In the products I've created, I am very comfortable with putting every single product in my mouth. Now, I'm not saying you should do that, but just to speak to the cleanliness of the products, it's preserved with colloidal silver, which is fantastic. There's oodles of research on benefits of colloidal silver. So to answer your question, robes, that was my very long-winded answer of the bottle needs to be adjusted. So I pulled that so that there's no possibilities for a leak in your order. Okay, Robe says, it is fantastic and makes sense. Can't wait to get updated. The bottle I wanted to try with your newest one, so I will wait. Yeah, don't worry, I'll send out an email. So if you're not on my newsletter, be sure to join my newsletter. Go to theschoolofradiance.com. You'll see a cute little pop-up that says, hey, submit your name and email here to get invited to events like this live podcast recording, and also promotions and news and exciting things. I do a lot of these updates in my tutorials. So for those of you who are always in my seasonal tutorials, I share these things all the time. So if you're like, oh, how do I get the information like weekly, the long and the quick and dirty, and also get information on tutorials of how to actually use the products? That's the huge benefit of being in the tutorials. They're always live. I record them live each week at the start of each season, and the spring one happens. We start next week. I also did another bit of a faux pas here with my spring sale. I couldn't combine the 20% off promo, the Spring Skin 20 code, with the early bird pricing. For some reason, my platform just wouldn't allow it. Yes, I do have to be a little bit of a tech wizard behind the scenes to pass along these sales to you. So if you register now for spring tutorials, I will actually send you a gift card for 20% off of the tutorial. And then you can use that towards purchasing products and things like that. So if I see and I know Tamara, you're going to be registering today. When I see your registration come through, I'm going to send you a gift card for the 20% off value of the early bird spring tutorials so that you can use it for whatever you like in the future product wise, which is great. That's the only way that I can kind of double up on the promo of 20% off site wide on top of the early bird savings, because really spring is an exciting time. I'm looking outside my window here and the blossoms are starting to bloom. Everything is coming back to life. And for me, spring represents this new energy. The earth is literally coming back to life. I don't know about you, but the fall winter seasons, I'm hearing my Canadian accent come back because many of you know I was living in California and Florida for a period of time. And since being back here, I'm noticing that Canadian accent coming back, and you might get a little bit of a chuckle over that. But anyways, what I've always found with the seasons is I like to embrace them. And I do encourage you to also look at this as well. I remember a number of years ago, I actually took a leadership program, and it was with a woman from Ireland. And she actually would teach this leadership program through universities as well. And one of the things that she highlighted was the fact that we have these 4 seasons, And there's beautiful gifts in each of the seasons. For the fall and winter, for me, it's a time to slow down. It's a time to kind of be cozy. I mean, don't be fooled. I was still hitting the gym about 4 to 6 days a week and lifting heavy and following high protein diet and, starting a beautiful relationship. It was very much a little bit more of a hermit mode. And historically, I like to take this cozy time inside to journal. That's actually when I started to write my book a number of years ago, and do some more of those indoor activities. Now, with the spring, this is when things come back to life. This is when we start to go to more events and activities, weddings, family reunions. Let me know in the chat if you have a wedding coming up or a special big event that you are really wanting and desiring to look your best. The other thing with the spring is we start to show a little bit more skin, whether that's on our arms or on our legs or on our abdomen. We're wearing more short sleeve shirts. We're wearing more skirts or shorts. And we're also starting to go to the beach again, which means rocking that bathing suit. So it is a time to make sure that the skin on our body looks fantastic as well. And in spring tutorials, I'm going to be showing you how to apply your sunless tanners as well. Because I don't know about you, but I'm a Fitzpatrick skin type 2. And with that, it's a little challenging for me to develop any semblance of a tan. So I fake it. And I actually have a really fantastic organic sunless tanner on my skin shop. With the call that I had right before this recording, which is why I was just a couple minutes late, because I wanted to make sure that I answered all of Tamara's questions. Again, longtime client, and she wanted to ask me, how do I use the Always Radiant skincare products? I know you're going to teach us this in tutorials, but she had some other really great questions and also some fantastic feedback. And I think that now is a time to cue you up, Tamara, if you would like to turn on your microphone and video. We're going to get into, I've never done this before. I've never invited one of my clients onto the show, but I think that Tamara just has some really lovely things to share that I'm sure are going to resonate with a number of you, because there's lots of different age groups that listen to the show, from 25 to 85. And most Radiant patients over the years have been 93, by the way, in their early 90s. And so this is just going to inspire you, and there's going to be something for everybody in this conversation here. Tamara, it's great to see you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you all?
Yes, we are. We're waiting with breath that is bated for some of the things that you brought up in our 30-minute follow-up. And by the way, what is that like as a one-on-one client to have those check-in calls with me at no charge whenever you need that extra support?
It's really fantastic. I really enjoy them. I love catching up with you and talking about skincare and beauty and aging in my case. And they're really, really valuable.
Thanks for sharing that. For those of you who are here live or listening, or you're watching this on YouTube, Tamara is a particularly special woman. She's a wife, she's a mother, and she's looking better than ever. I remember when I first met you, I had gently recommended that you embrace your grays. And look at you now.
And it was the best thing I ever did. It was really, it took a lot for me to do that. I went to my stylist and I told her, I want to do it slowly. And she said, no, cold turkey. And I remember Rachel saying too that it was better cold turkey. And I have never looked back. I really, really, I feel so much better having not, having to go through the, million appointments, because I was having to dye my hair every 3 weeks. And, Rachel has really helped me starting there beyond words. And, I have people come up to me all the time asking me, telling me, oh my gosh, you have beautiful skin. And I haven't always. And So it's really been since I have known Rachel and since I've been working with Rachel. And I even had someone come up to me, or several people come up to me, and one in particular that's noteworthy. She said to me, she tapped me on the shoulder and she said, I have a question for you. Does God do your highlights? And I said, yes, he does. And that was really quite a compliment. I mean, it was, I was outside with sunscreen and, in a swimsuit, which wasn't necessarily a pretty sight. But it was, obviously it wasn't all that bad if I got that wonderful compliment. So, she's just helped me in so many ways. And also, I was telling her earlier, I see so many older women, and actually all women, in these trends of makeup where they have these very dark eyes and very dark lips, and they just look overdone and cakey. And, I'm so in tune now with, gray hair, and I'm so in tune to, bringing out the best of your natural features and highlighting what's natural and what you were born with. And it makes such a difference when I see other women out there. And so I was telling her that, that's one of the subjects that I really tune in on.
And in tutorials, I've been able to teach you a really lovely, mature makeup look. I mean, yes, I have the liquid winged eyeliner, which is a little bit more spicy, but you can leave that out. And the contour kit, the foundation stick, the blush, the lip gloss, the mascara, the brow gel, the lash thickener and conditioner, like they look great on you, and it's a really great mature look.
And it's easy. We travel a lot too, and I'd like to keep it simple when we travel. And I have my Rachel bag, and I throw it all in there, and away I go. So, but these are all really, things that she's helped me so much with, and um, it's really it's really nice. I'm not a compliment type person, but it's really nice when you have people who, that you least expect, who say, who notice. It's really nice. And it takes, it's taken me time because I didn't start out with really nice skin and hair. And I use pretty much everything from Rachel. I don't really buy anything from Amazon and all of these other places. I don't wear perfume anymore. I don't, I use Rachel's oils, um, the pineapple oil and the other oils that she sells, and even the hair oil. I use all of it, and it's gotten to the point where I can't even use other things. And when I smell other things, I don't like it. I'm thankful that I found Rachel.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah. And for scents, I'm a huge fan of essential oil. Like, find a local essential oil creator near you and start to play around with which ones you like. I actually wear some pheromones right now. And for the hair products, you'll actually love this. It's a little bit of an update to everybody. The previous hair care line that I sold, which is the So Pure Cune, which you can get on my skin shop, they actually did a huge rebrand. So the shampoo and conditioner that's on the skin shop now, there's two sets. One that is a polish. It's very, very hydrating. So my thick curly hair needs it. And then there's also a cooling, which is great for blondes. It's great for grays to keep the hair looking bright and not brassy. So I wanted to do a shout out for that. There's also Michelle, who's one-on-one done tutorials. She's in the membership as well. She's like, what do you recommend for styling products? And so I do have a shine pomade on the skin shop as well that I love. It just kind of keeps those flyaways down and gives a little bit of shine. So if you're looking for a styling product, and I do constantly make updates on the skin shop because sometimes things get phased out or it's too difficult for me to get, or there's something better. And I actually relay these updates a little bit more in these 30-minute follow-up calls that we just had right before this, Tamara, and also in the tutorials. And there's so many other nuances for me when I'm deciding what to put on the skin shop. the ingredients, how well it's going to pack and travel. So I have had to make some tough decisions of certain products to pull because I want them to be reliable and dependable and make sure that quality is on point. So that's why a number of you have probably seen some big shifts on what's available on the Skin Shop. So that could be a reason why I pulled something, or I found something better, or I've created it. And so that's why the 30-minute follow-ups and being in tutorials is a great way to stay up to date with, if I had recommended something in the past, to make the switch to something else that's better. Now, what else, what other questions do you have, Tamara? I think you had a question about hyaluronic acid and copper peptide and C60. What are some of your questions?
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering, what's for what? Because I have the whole skincare line, but I wasn't exactly sure, what to do with it.
Yes.
I mean, obviously the light moisturizer and the heavy moisturizer are self-explanatory. The eye cream, but like the recovery spot gel, what kinds of things can you do with that versus C60 and hyaluronic acid?
Yes, and now the copper peptide as well. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of a revelation that I had about the copper peptide, which you got the sneak peek in. The names on the products are self-explanatory, and I did that for a reason. And so say, for example, with all of the products on my Skin Shop that you get from me over at the schoolofradiance.com, just go to the Skin Shop tab. On each of the product pages, I have the directions for use written there. And then on the Always Radiant skincare products, in the directions for use, I do list out the order of operations so that every time you look at your product, you can see those just directions there. And then, of course, in tutorials, I expand and talk about the nuances on the best ways to apply it. Now, simply put, you're always going to want to cleanse the skin first, then go for your eye product, and then go for your serums, moisturizer, sunscreen, and then makeup. So that kind of overview is on the directions of the bottle. Now the nuances here between the different serums that I have, which include the hyaluronic acid serum, the copper peptide serum, and the C60 serum, I'll get into the details here to give you just a little bit more clarity as to what they all do. So the hyaluronic acid serum is a lovely product for pulling moisture from the air and keeping it on the skin. And the hyaluronic acid that I use is at a specific size so that it can actually be absorbed transdermally. Most hyaluronic acid serums just sit on the surface, and this one can be absorbed transdermally. It's also preserved with colloidal silver. So, it's colloidal silver has been used for years for various different things, and that's in pretty much every product I've made as the stabilizer and preservative. So the hyaluronic acid is great for kind of oily skin, acne-prone skin. It's a really lightweight serum that you can use in the AM or the PM, and you can also use it after dermal rolling too. The copper peptide that I've created has hyaluronic acid serum in it as well. And it's also preserved with colloidal silver. So you don't need to get a separate hyaluronic acid serum. Go for the copper peptide because it has the hyaluronic acid in it too. And it's a little bit more expensive than the standalone hyaluronic acid because it has the extra copper peptide. Now, the funny thing when I was making that product, because, I source the raw ingredients for it, and copper peptide in its precipitate form is blue. And so when I made the product, the serum is blue. And I've sold lots of other hyaluronic acid serums over the years, and those serums were always clear. So I had a bit of a aha moment here. It's how much copper peptide was actually in those copper peptide serums, because mine is blue. So that was kind of a little disheartening for me to see. It's like, I've found these great products over the years. Copper peptide, we know, acts as a senolytic for the cells. It helps to stimulate autophagy and tell those cells that kind of are misbehaving to go away so that your skin can focus on making healthier skin cells. Kind of simply put, it's sort of why we fast or sauna or do a cold plunge or take, say, for example, the Qualia senolytic, is to prune out those zombie cells. That's essentially what a copper peptide does, and it also promotes the production of collagen and elastin. So it's a bit of a heavy hitter, and it's a great product to use, and it's blue. Because the copper peptide content is higher than the other ones, and it's in a pump instead of a dropper, so you're not going to be contaminating the product. It's all vacuum sealed and all of that. So the copper peptide serum, it feels just like a serum. It's great for AM and it's great for PM, and it's a little bit lightweight too, so if you're oily or acne prone, and you can also use it after dermal rolling. Now the C60 serum, I had a question the other day about, I've been hearing things about hyaluronic acid and copper peptide. This was from Elena. She's a one-on-one. She's been in tutorials and also in the membership. And the thing about vitamin C, I've sold lots of great vitamin C serums over the years. Vitamin C is great for pigmentation. It's an antioxidant. So it helps the skin overcome oxidative stress or inflammation, say from sun damage or blue light damage. But C60 is also an option, and some people can be a little sensitive to vitamin C, and there's lots of different forms of vitamin C that's used in skincare products. So instead of doing a vitamin C serum, I thought to myself, hey, we know about the benefits of carbon 60, very potent antioxidant. And lots of people have been taking C60 internally for the benefits for their overall body. I thought to myself, well, why can't I just put this on the skin? So I created a C60 antioxidant serum, and it's super hydrating. And for the last 3 months, I've actually been able to get away with cleansing the skin, putting my eye product on, the C60 serum, and then my sunscreen, because it's that hydrating. And I'm a little bit acne prone, but if you are looking to really ramp up your hydration to the skin, and I know, Tamara, that's one of the things we talked about too, is to add the C60 to your AM and PM routine underneath your moisturizer. And that's going to really hydrate and quench the skin. And then you're also getting that antioxidant protection from the C60, carbon 60, which is a potent antioxidant. Vitamin C has been used for decades on the skin, but sometimes there's some new kids on the block that are just a little bit more potent. And in my opinion, C60 is one of those compared to the traditional vitamin C that we've used on the skin. Yeah. So does that answer your question? It's kind of about how to use them, and in tutorials, I'll make it also a little bit more clear, but they can all be used after dermal rolling as well. And I'll show you that in spring tutorials. You had another question about hydration in the skin.
Yes. I was wondering about hydration, dehydration, and brown spots. And what is the dehydration what leads to small wrinkles? And as far as brown spots, what causes them? And is there something that people do, and how do you avoid them?
Great question. So as we know, the skin is the barrier to the outside world. It's like our defense layer to keeping things out of the body. So we want our skin barrier to be intact. This is where that skin microbiome conversation comes up, as well as the internal gut microbiome conversation, the oral microbiome conversation. The skin is a reflection of what's going on the inside. Okay. So if you have skin issues like eczema, psoriasis, every season you get kind of red inflamed skin. For me, I use that recovery spot gel when I had just like a little bit of eczema last summer around renovations, forest fire smoke, professional stressors, emotional stressors. There were a lot of things moving in my life at the end of last summer. And so for the first time in my life, I actually had a rash on my neck. And I used all my products. I used that recovery spot gel on that area. So it's just as the name implies, recovery spot gel. So I like to use it on compromised skin. So for those of you who make your own food in the kitchen, every now and again we touch that cast iron pan that's too hot, or that baking sheet nicks our arm or something. I even got, oh my gosh, I remember a number of years ago, I was taking something out of the oven and it contacted my stomach because I think I was wearing like a cute crop top or something like that. So I had literally a cooking burn on my stomach. But more recently, cast iron pan on my forearm. So what did I do? I just applied a little bit of that recovery spot gel on that area. And I have to be careful with the claims that I make with the products. So that's why I'm saying this is what I do, because this is not medical advice. It's educational information only. If you think you have a medical condition, you must seek the guidance of a licensed physician. So I think that's what you're picking up on. It's just like, oh, I need more clarity on how to use these products. And I have to be careful with claims. So that's why I'm kind of talking in first person, and then I get a little bit more into it in the tutorials. So that's how I use the recovery spot gel, is if I ever cut myself or get a burn or something like that, or a little bit of a rash, I'll actually put a little bit of that on. And then for hydration, 2 to 2.5 liters of purified water a day for ladies, 3 liters for guys. 25% of listeners on the show are actually guys. And I know your son, Tamara, Jack, listens to the show too, because you have it playing in the house and you have the tutorials. So your whole family, your hubby, your son, hear me talking, and you kind of chuckle a little bit every now and again when I say something that might make you laugh. So hydration really is going to start with what you're drinking. It's also going to start with what you're eating. So making sure you're getting enough fats in your diet. So avocados, I consume a lot of grass-fed butter, salmon about once a week, and lots of eggs. We want to make sure we're getting these omegas into our diet. And eggs are really important for the cholesterol compound to actually make healthy hormones. It gives us the precursor to make good hormones, but we need these omegas. And it's kind of like an antioxidant internally, like we put on an antioxidant like C60 on the skin. Externally, we want to make sure that we're getting enough antioxidants in our diet to help to empty out that oxidative stress bucket or level of inflammation in the body. And it's a little challenging these days to stay on top of getting enough of our nutritional needs through our foods, because our crops have been selectively bred, crops and livestock, to be bigger and sweeter and produce more. And so it's a little bit of a new nuanced challenge for us in this generation to make sure we're getting enough of what we need, which is why you hear me talk so much about the Organifi products, to get those adaptogens, to get those key minerals and nutrients. Qualia also has the Life. It's kind of like a multivitamin, and you can get those kind of recommendations that you hear me talk about on the show on my biohacking page. That's more affiliate, so I don't sell those products on the Skin Shop. And those are really great products that I use to just make sure I'm getting the other key nutrients and minerals that I know I need to help with cellular function. So getting back to the skin, that's the basics. It's drinking enough water, making sure you're getting those omegas, and also your skincare. So the skin wants to be looked after in a certain way to maintain the barrier. So cleanse, moisturize, sun protect, and exfoliate a couple times a week. That's the basics. Then you can kick things up with taking care of fine lines, wrinkles, and pigmentation through things like at-home dermal rolling, or even going into the clinic and getting some laser rejuvenation done to take care of those sunspots. So what causes sunspots is the sun. The other thing that can cause sunspots and pigmentation is elevated inflammation, right? And hormones being off. So that's why some of us can experience melasma, which is like this patch of pigmentation or brown on the skin. Sometimes we'll see this on the forehead, above the brows, to the cheeks, to the upper lip. this is an indication that there's actually some internal hormonal dysregulation. So for ladies, we can keep an eye on this stuff with doing a Dutch test with a practitioner that can offer that test and guidance. And for guys, it's going to be blood work. Looking at blood work. You also mentioned with your dear son, Jack, that there was kind of like this dark patchiness under his eyes. Sometimes around the eyes, because a number of you know I've worked as an aesthetic nurse in oculoplastics and ophthalmology. So eyelid surgery clinic and rejuvenation, obviously for the rest of the face too. That's been my bread and butter since 2011. We can get cholesterol deposits. So sometimes they're called xanthelasma. It's kind of this cholesterol deposit around the eyes that looks kind of like a tanned orange brown color. And it's sort of like this overaccumulation of cholesterol on the skin. And some people simply just don't process that cholesterol appropriately. There's probably some inner machinery workings with your level of inflammation, with hormones, with your metabolism. So a little bit more of a conversation on that. It can be surgically removed by an oculoplastic surgeon. So anything around the eyes, you want to get looked at. 10% of all skin cancers occur around the eyelid area. That's pretty significant considering the rest of our body. 10% occurs around the eyes. So if you're having something pop up, red, flaky, comes and goes, some type of like new thing pop up, do get it looked at. That could be some helpful advice there. But for darkness around the eyes, whenever I've done a study, I've done studies on multiple skin supplement companies over the years. I actually just did two. One for Oxford Healthspan and their Primidine product, and also recently for Bioptimizers and their collagen product, which I both love. And then in the past for the Glycidin anti-aging dermal formula. That one actually just sold out with my skin sale, so I'll have to order some more. And for a product that I'm evaluating for its benefit on the skin, like what actually happens when we take it, if a product has antioxidants and it helps to reduce inflammation, our eyes should look brighter. We should have less redness, less puffiness, and less darkness around the eyes. So that's visibly what consuming antioxidants can do. Some of my favorite antioxidants that I've used in the past are NAC, quercetin, vitamin C, green tea extract, zinc, all sorts of good things. Like all these things, we should be having a little bit of a sprinkling in our consumption to make sure that our body's getting these cofactors so that our metabolism and our skin looks more clear. So that's what causes pigmentation in a nutshell. It's sun exposure, it's blue light exposure, it's can be insights into hormones, it can be also insights into our level of inflammation. So now the question is, what do we do about it? Your basic skincare day in and day out, cleanse, moisturize, sunscreen, exfoliate. Starting to maybe add in some at-home dermal rolling is really fantastic. And since I started working with clients just like you, Tamara, sometimes people think, oh, because I'm in my mid-late 30s, oh, what do you know about 60, 70, 80-year-old skin? I mean, this has been my bread and butter since 2011. I happen to know a couple things. But bumping up your home care with your basic routine, adding the dermal rolling with copper peptides and antioxidants, I've seen great results over the years, especially for those who are on a budget or who are retired, or they just don't want to do in-clinic stuff. They want to do as much as they can at home, or they want to really maximize what they're doing at home and in the clinic. Adding dermal rolling into the mix 2 to 5 nights a week. So we're using the roller to create these little channels in the skin that actually access the keratinocytes and melanocytes that make pigmentation to help break it down. And then also the fibroblasts that make elastin and collagen. So that's why dermal rolling alongside antioxidants and copper peptides I've seen this since I've been working with clients that have dermal rolled since 2011, that it does help to reduce the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and pigmentation in a relatively low cost, non-invasive way from the comfort of your own home. So do all that heavy lifting first at home, get your diet on point, reduce that inflammation. I think that that's a recipe for success for then, well, what's left over that your home care isn't really taken care of? Then there's some lasers. And I actually teach for a top laser company in actually across the globe, which is fantastic. It's like the Ferrari of lasers. There's Hyundais and then there's Ferraris. So there's different qualities of lasers. So for you, Tamara, as a one-on-one client, you have my recommendations of what that tech is, because I can't make those claims publicly because everyone has a different skin type. So I have to be careful what I say with that. So that's what causes pigmentation. And that's what we can do about it. We can actually use light energy to fragment the pigmentation in the skin. And then what's really cool is the body's macrophages, or essentially immune system, comes in and then helps to break down that cellular debris, or it kind of gets pushed out through the surface of the skin. So for any of you listening who have maybe had an intense pulse light, I got about 3 a year on my face, neck, chest, hands, arms, back. I've done my legs a couple times too. It's kind of like this magic eraser that the light frequency helps to fragment the pigmentation. This also can be utilized for redness to the cheeks or broken capillaries as well. You also get a bit of hair removal at the same time. I'm a huge fan of light-based laser technologies, not the same as red light therapy. That's more for mitochondrial support and systemic overall inflammation, kind of biohacking stuff, where this is more in clinic type light benefits. And what's cool about light is it also has the impact on overall rejuvenating the skin and telling some of the genes that get switched off as we age to turn back on. There was an incredible Stanford study that looked at broadband light and how these different light wavelengths not only help with pigmentation and redness and broken capillaries, but they also help the skin to express younger. So a couple of different options there for sunspots. There's also the brightening formula that's on my Skin Shop too. My clients with melasma, they love that product and they get on that every spring, summer. And sometimes when we start to get sun, that pigmentation can come up. And that's been a favorite with a number of my clients since 2011 as well. That brightening formula taken internally. So a lot of answers there. A lot of information. I've seen you taking some notes. So any other questions or things that you think could be helpful for the School of Radiance community to have me expand on? I do have a question here from Roxy. Hi, Rachel. Which dermal roller for microneedling do you recommend, or do you have your own brand? Thanks for sharing your skin routine and products with us. My absolute pleasure, Roxy. I have the trusted dermal roller on my Skin Shop that has been made since the 90s. You don't want to use a roller that, say, your friend gave you, that was made in China, that is a 10-20 use product. Those are typically rollers that are not needles, they're blades. They can rust, and they're typically a metal alloy. So the roller that I have is actually a 2-year product. And the only place I share how to use that roller is in my tutorials. I don't share that stuff on YouTube for a couple of different reasons. And then, of course, like you want to use it properly and then apply your products properly with it. But I think this is an example. I get this type of question all the time, Roxy. So thanks for chiming in here. You will see something online or someone on YouTube talking about, oh, use this product, use this gadget. It's never going to be one thing. It's always going to be consistent being consistent with your whole lifestyle, with your whole skincare routine, and then adding in some of these more advanced layers like peels and retinols as well, alongside your dermal rolling, that's really going to set you up for success. Isn't that right, Tamara?
Yes. Yes.
And knowing how they all work together. Anything coming up for you?
I think we've covered almost everything we talked about. Just trying to think if there's anything else I can mention.
Well, I just have to say, I think you look fabulous. You got your highlights from God, your pearl studs. You're in a beautiful white top. You have a bright, vibrant smile. I really just want to thank you for having the courage to, to be here and ask these questions live. It's fun.
Thank you. And thank you, Robes R. Really kind comment. That's very nice of you. Very sweet and very, very kind.
Fantastic. So Tamara, I'm going to answer some more questions here. And so feel free to turn your mic and your camera off. But if something comes up that you're like, oh, I feel like the community could benefit from this, or like something I've shared with you in the past, just turn your camera back on and mic on and just jump right in. Okay. Thank you, Tamara. I appreciate you. Well, that was kind of fun. I think I'm going to have some more community guests here, not just the traditional podcast guests, because one of the issues that I know I have as a practitioner is I get a little stuck in my practitioner brain when I show up live on camera for the public to see. And I really want to make sure that it's my desire and purpose to make sure that I'm answering your questions. Okay. So I answer these questions kind of in this format with Tamara here in one-on-one sessions. I am accepting a couple new clients this week too. 30-minute follow-ups are a lot like this too, where I'll kind of get into the nuances of exactly what products to recommend, what to do next to kind of keep you on track, and then the tutorials to actually have you see me do it and all that good stuff. Robes are, hello. Robe says, Tamara, your skin looks beautiful. Yeah, Tamara she's really an example of someone here in the community who actually does the work. You're not going to get results if you are following the bright, shiny objects or the trends or just seeing what the celebrities are doing and mimicking that look. Because just as what Tamara said, is I think we had like the Oscars recently or something like that. And all my clients in the clinic were like, oh, did you see how Whoopi Goldberg looked? Or Demi Moore? And they're just not looking like themselves, right? And it's tough for celebrities. And I've done some celebrity plastic surgery review videos in the past that went a little bit viral, but these are people too. So I honestly, I don't love doing them. But at the end of the day, what Tamara said is really key. We should be highlighting our best features. So for me, I'm getting a couple highlights from God too. And so I heard you laughing at that, Tamara. So, I'm rocking it. I'm embracing it. I'm going extra blonde now, right? I'm Dutch, and my Dutch aunts and uncles go this gorgeous blonde gray. So yes, I'm embracing those highlights from God. If you're curious about something that can actually help with highlights from God, then the Premedine product actually. I've seen some before and after photos with some of their people that have utilized the Premedine, which is a spermidine product. It's not what you think. It's an antioxidant, stimulates autophagy. And there was a lady who had a full head of highlights from God, and then her roots were actually coming in darker. It was like reverse growing out your grays. It was really interesting to see that photo. So the Premedine can help with that. I'm more than happy to embrace my highlights from God. I think it's actually a really pretty look. And Tamara, when I first met with Tamara, she was dyeing her hair, and we all know that 70, 80, 90-year-old lady who you're not fooling anybody with that full head of brown hair, right? You're not fooling anybody. And I think there comes a trade-off where just embrace it. And I actually find that one of my other clients last week, she came in and I hadn't seen her in a little while. And I was so excited to see her. And she was so excited to see me and get caught up and all that stuff. And she embraced her highlights from God. And I'm telling you, women that do that, they look regal. It's just like this wise woman. And she looked so much better with embracing the grays, the highlights from God. I was just like, wow, like she looked brighter. Her complexion looked brighter. Her eyes looked brighter, which is really cool. So I wanted to encourage all of you who might be a little discouraged that, oh, why is God giving me these extra highlights? It's, there's some things that just are par for the course with aging. Don't fight it. Be you. See the beauty in you stepping into this next layer of your life. Okay, robes. Rachel, can you use both the C60 and peptides together daily? And or only when dermal rolling, I use peptides. So what I would suggest, if you really want to double up on your actives, I would cleanse, do your eye cream or eye serum, apply the copper peptide, and then the C60. You should get a good amount of moisture with that. If you want to use a moisturizer, you could go for the light or heavy moisturizer, and then your sunscreen over top of that. So that would be like a great AM routine. Leave out the sunscreen. That could be a PM routine. And yes, the copper peptide with hyaluronic acid and colloidal silver and the C60, which is a potent antioxidant, is great to use after dermal rolling. So if you're not yet in spring tutorials, definitely join spring tutorials. Now, when I see your registration come through before Friday, I will send you a 20% gift card for the value of the spring tutorial that's right now on for early bird. Okay. Great questions and comments. I would love to hear your feedback. I have a couple other podcast topic requests queued up from a number of you who are longtime listeners, longtime one-on-one clients and tutorials and membership. The free stuff is sometimes like a little bit surface level because I need to kind of meet you where you're at. And when you're ready for that deeper layer of learning and insights and a bit more off the cuff, the tutorials are great. And Tamara said that when her son comes over, she always asks questions. He always asks questions of, oh, what does Rachel think about this? Because he hears her mom learning some of the information that I'm sharing in my voice. So that gave me a chuckle that I'm making people laugh. Okay, hi mom. My mom always likes to join these live calls. Hey Carrie, hey Robes, Roxy, Tamara. Hello Wendy, great to see you. I love you all so much. And again, huge thanks to everybody here in the community. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't continue to be showing up. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for continuing to purchase products and hang out with me and learn more with me over at the schoolofradiance.com. Again, last chance for the spring flash sale for 20% off products. Use promo code SPRINGSKIN20 to save 20% off on your getting your spring back in your step order. Definitely join spring tutorials. This is going to be the best one yet. We're going to be adding sunless tanner application tips and body care to get you looking fantastic from head to toe this spring, summer. So don't miss out on the fun and the savings now. And for some free stuff, I just recently actually updated my skincare checklist. So if you'd like to download that, head on over to skincarechecklist.com. And there's tons of great information. I literally just redid that about a month ago. So that's a brand new free resource that's over at skincarechecklist.com. Eunice says, thanks, Tamara and Rachel, for inspiring us. And one of the things I love that Tamara did was instead of complaining about her grades, you see how she did that really fun spin that made us all laugh? The highlights from God. It's all about your perspective, and having this kind of like lighthearted, seeing the beauty in everything type of perspective is so incredibly valuable. And it's a key facet to being your most beautiful, radiant self. So stop the complaining. If you're a complainer, we all know how frustrating it is for people around us who you ask them how they are and they just complain. They don't look as bright, they're not as beautiful, they got more inflammation, probably got some psychological, emotional, mental stuff going on too. Just have empathy for those people who aren't, doing our best. They're not, they maybe just don't know. So share this episode, share the show with someone who you think could benefit from a little bit more brightness in their life as well. Love you all so much. And I'll see you again very soon in spring tutorials, in one-on-one, or your follow-up call. And also, of course, right here on the School of Radiance podcast. Bye, everybody.